I remember the days before the call, the world as I knew it, defined by patterns, by family, by the city, by what was familiar. My mind was tethered to the rhythms of life around me: trade, kinship, customs, obligations. There was comfort in the known, a quiet security in the predictable. I moved through life with intention, yet without awareness of the vast currents that would soon reshape my very understanding of existence. I did not know that faith could become both a companion and a burden, that obedience could be both liberating and torturous, that the whisper of God could both illuminate and unsettle every corner of a human heart. When the call came, I understood its gravity before fully understanding its meaning. Leave your land, your family, your home. Go to a place you do not know. My mind paused, confronted by the paradox of command and trust. How could one step forward when every familiar anchor was to be severed? And yet, in that moment, a strange clarity emerged. I understood that life's ultimate test is not merely survival, not merely success, but alignment with what is greater than oneself. Obedience is not passive. It is active. It demands courage, calculation, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to principle even when the principle is veiled, even when the outcome is uncertain. My psychology shifted. Where before I had measured life in tangible measures, wealth, family, standing, I now began to measure it in alignment, in trust, in moral and spiritual resonance. The crucible of the journey itself was the first lesson in the complexity of faith. Step by step, mile by mile, the familiar fell away, replaced by landscapes that tested both body and mind. I confronted scarcity, discomfort, the unknown, and through it all, I learned the subtle art of patience. There is a patience that is passive, waiting for circumstances to resolve themselves. And there is a patience born of faith, an active endurance, a tension between what is and what is promised, a quiet struggle to hold belief when no evidence yet manifests. That patience reshaped my cognition, expanding my capacity for foresight, reflection, and moral reasoning. I understood that a mind tuned to obedience must also cultivate humility, because certainty is rarely present, and because to act without evidence is the truest test of alignment with the divine. As the journey unfolded, I encountered challenges that were not merely physical, but deeply psychological. Relationships with my family, with companions, with strangers, revealed the interplay of trust, loyalty, fear, and ambition. I observed how human beings negotiate power, negotiate faith, negotiate survival. Each interaction was a microcosm of the broader moral universe, a reflection of the tension between desire and duty, between self-interest and obedience, between perception and reality. I began to see patterns in human behavior that were invisible to the untrained eye. The subtle cues of deception, the quiet signals of loyalty, the emotional rhythms that underlie every decision. My awareness sharpened, my perception deepened, and yet with clarity came burden. To see so much is to bear weight. The mind that discerns patterns also discerns threats, the potential for failure, the moral implications of every choice. Faith, doubt, and legacy. Faith, in its purest form, is not static. It is dynamic, evolving, and at times corrosive to complacency. When I was promised descendants as numerous as the stars, the mind in me recoiled. How could one believe in the unseen, in the improbable, in the nearly impossible? And yet the psychology of belief is paradoxical. It demands that one suspend doubt not in ignorance, but in disciplined trust. I experienced moments of anxiety, of uncertainty, of fear that the promise might be unattainable. Moments when the mind wrestled with logic, with probability, with reality. But each of these moments was a crucible. In them, I learned that faith is not the absence of doubt, but the capacity to act in spite of doubt, to navigate life with vision anchored in unseen truths. The question of legacy weighed on me heavily. I understood that actions resonate beyond the individual, that choices carry moral and spiritual consequence across generations. My psychology became temporal as well as spatial. I thought in lifetimes, in echoes of consequence that I might never witness fully. This awareness instilled both caution and courage. I became acutely sensitive to relational dynamics, to the moral integrity of those around me, and to the subtle signals that indicate alignment or deviation from principle. Every negotiation, every alliance, every interaction became a test of discernment, patience, and strategic foresight. The ultimate test, Isaac, the most profound psychological challenges, however, were internal. Obedience is rarely simple because it is rarely convenient. It asks the individual to reconcile desire with duty, attachment with principle, personal safety with moral responsibility. When I was asked to offer Isaac, the son of promise, as a sacrifice, my mind was thrust into uncharted territory. The psychological terrain was harrowing. Love and faith, hope and terror, duty and instinct, all collided within me. I recognized the depth of my attachment, the intensity of my fear, the raw vulnerability of trust in a divine plan I could not yet comprehend. The mind stretches in these moments. It contorts. It tests boundaries. It measures the depths of loyalty, of conviction, of courage. In that moment, I felt the full weight of the human condition, the tension between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, the immediate and the eternal. My thoughts oscillated between desperation and surrender, between fear and resolve, between moral clarity and emotional agony. The mind that had once navigated trade, travel, and diplomacy was now grappling with an ethical and existential test that defied precedent, logic, and the comforting patterns of daily life. The psychological strain was immense, yet it revealed a fundamental truth. The human mind is capable of extraordinary endurance when aligned with conviction, even when conviction demands suffering, uncertainty, and courage beyond measure. Abraham's integrated psychology. Abraham's psychology is deeply relational. My connection with God was not passive. It was dialogical, iterative, and profoundly personal. I questioned, I reasoned, I negotiated, and I wrestled with fear and hope alike. I recognized that obedience does not eliminate thought, doubt, or introspection. Rather, it amplifies them, demanding that the mind integrate ethical reasoning, emotional intelligence, and spiritual alignment simultaneously. I became attuned not only to my own impulses, but to the rhythms of divine expectation, translating abstract command into practical action, internalizing principle into lived behavior. The relational dimension extended beyond God to human companions, to Sarah, to servants, to neighbors, to strangers. I observed the interplay of trust, skepticism, envy, and loyalty. My psychological awareness expanded to encompass not only the immediate dynamics, but the broader moral ecology of each encounter. I understood that leadership and responsibility are inseparable from observation, discernment, and ethical calibration. Decisions were never isolated. They carried consequence, subtle or obvious for generations. This awareness instilled both caution and ethical vigilance, shaping my perception of justice, mercy, and consequence in profound ways. Psychologically, Abraham learned resilience. The mind under divine call develops patterns of endurance, anticipation, and strategic foresight. One must live in a constant tension between immediate need and ultimate purpose, between personal desire and transcendent command, between attachment and release. This tension creates a complex cognitive architecture: heightened sensitivity, anticipation of consequences, reflection on intention, ethical evaluation, emotional regulation. My awareness was expanded across multiple temporal and relational planes simultaneously. I was attuned to the now, to the unfolding future, and to the enduring moral resonance of my choices. Sacrifice, negotiation, covenant, and promise became the axes around which my psychology rotated. Every decision required integration of emotion and principle, desire and duty, fear and faith. My mind had to navigate uncertainty with moral clarity, ambiguity with discernment, attachment with surrender. The cognitive load was immense, yet it cultivated depth, insight, and resilience unparalleled in ordinary existence. In this crucible, I became aware of the paradoxical nature of human consciousness. The capacity for profound suffering and profound insight coexist within the same mind, shaping identity, moral intuition, and relational awareness. Conclusion: a blueprint for consciousness. Abraham's psychology is also defined by imagination and anticipation. To believe in promises unseen, to envision a future beyond immediate perception, requires a mind capable of abstract construction, temporal projection, and moral extrapolation. I learned to imagine not only outcomes but the ethical pathways to achieve them, to weigh consequence against principle, to anticipate human response, to navigate both relational and spiritual terrain. This imaginative capacity is both gift and burden. It allows vision and planning, yet magnifies uncertainty, amplifies moral responsibility, and intensifies emotional strain. The enduring lesson of my psychology is the interplay of faith, obedience, moral courage, and relational awareness. It demonstrates that human consciousness, when stretched by divine call, is capable of extraordinary perception, resilience, and insight, that vulnerability and strength coexist, that doubt and faith coexist, that fear and courage coexist, that the human mind, heart, and spirit are capable of integration beyond ordinary experience, capable of navigating uncertainty with ethical, relational, and spiritual sophistication. My mind, trained by trial, attuned to principle and shaped by divine call, demonstrates that the human psyche is capable of extraordinary alignment when guided by faith, tempered by experience and enriched by reflection.